dad should teach his son. We usually think that moms play the most important role in a child's life. However, there are things that a father will certainly do better, especially when it comes to a son. Let's see. First, the boy comes under the supervision of kindergarten teachers, and then he goes to school, where women constitute 90% of teachers. He is always in the company of women, and he often lacks male education. You should know that there are 8 things that only a father can give his child. The last lesson, number 8, is the most valuable on this list, as it helps kids learn how to stay happy no matter what happens. 1. Explain how important it is to know how to win and how to lose. Apart from friends, who is the best companion for a child in various competitions and games? Dad, of course. This is good training for masculine qualities. Through these games, the child will feel the taste of victory and realize...
My son always asks me, "Why, Dad, are you letting me win?"
Such games will be an excellent opportunity.
I didn't get to the point where I could start beating him. I did let him win. You know, it just felt like the right time was not to win at everything. It was important to him. Oh God, I wish I could have taught him that. I mean, I did. I guess I did. I didn't have a girlfriend though, and one day he says, "Dad." I thought, well, you're my everything. Well, I don't need a girl. He said, "Yeah, you do. Go get a girl, Dad. You can." It's like he had noticed it or something. It was.
Doesn't hesitate to communicate with unfamiliar women. That's it.
That's stranger danger bullshit.
Conversation about love. This point follows on from the preceding. Let your son learn all about this.
My son had this thing, like Brad was telling him about, or this guardian was telling him that it's not okay to cry. I mean, like, I had tears.
First love and first dates. That he shouldn't hurry because it's better to wait for the right girl who will create a spark in his soul.
I mean,
such conversations can be extremely useful.
I'm just so in a bad place right now with what to do.
4. Teach him how
This one. I mean, I didn't teach my son to fight back. I taught my son how to not fight back by letting him do this to him. It's terrible. And it's the whole... It's like, what am I teaching him by not really just doing something about it? It's crazy.
He should explain to his son and show by his example that kindness is not a weakness.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to, but they took them, man.
5. Enrich the child's experience with new sensations.
All the time. All the time. Everything I thought about when he's coming, what we're gonna do this time, what he enjoys, and then when it you know, he likes consistency too. So when
fathers prefer active games with a masculine character, such as tossing or spinning, moms usually look at all this with quiet horror, but the child
he had a swing right out in the front door.
Auditory and tactile sensations and a new experience about their spatial location.
We moved and expanded.
Teach him male tricks.
Oh gosh, yes. Ones my dad taught me. That's what I tried to do.
Magic to most women. For example, starting a fire, hammering nails, repairing a car.
Well, we didn't get to any of that. Nails we did.
100% urban. There's no doubt that the ability to start a fire will come in handy for
No,
him in
we
the
didn't get
future,
there.
At least for lighting a grill. In any company, the skills described
He did. He did.
100 points
You know,
to
just
his son.
keep your fingers out of the way.
7. Help him to master domestic duties.
Yeah, of course. No, not shaving. Never got there.
Although now your son can find the answers to any question on the internet, it'll be much better if he learns this from his father. And yes, it's the father and no one else who can show his son that men can also cook.
Yeah, well, he didn't believe me. He stuck to the middle ground.
8. Help him find his
Uncle Tony made something that he liked.
You don't even need to do anything special. Just be there from time to time.
His whole room, I go in there right now, his whole room had maps and, you know, things to make his brain go, oh, what's that? And he used to, when he used to get tired of it for bed, that's when he wanted, you know, it's kind of that excuse not to go to bed, but it was so, his mind was open and he, oh yeah, Dad. And I didn't notice right away, but we'd be playing and he would bring up something that we had a conversation in that moment, which is sort of like he didn't remember. I don't think that I was told it to him. He said it was more telling it to me, like, Dad, did you know? And it was so like, I don't know. I guess maybe I'm a fool, but he just, my son Tatum was such a wonderful boy. And intelligent and kind and empathetic, and he worried about me. Dad, what do you? He knew because the guardians were saying, we're stopping visits and stuff, and they said don't tell him because you will never see your brother and sister again and things like just threatened him, and he almost had a nervous breakdown, and it just was terrible, and I still lingers, but for the first 6 months after he was taken, man, I just couldn't get a grip on life. I just thought about what he was going through with wanting me, and at Christmas time I realized that there's no one going to help us. There wasn't going to be there. Everybody was just backstabbing us, and it was gone. And I took a little calendar from the bank I had, and I took the month of January, and I said, remember we talked about month, and I said, well, after Christmas is January's the longest month, and I said, Tatum, try this once and see if it works. I said, agree with everybody. When they say jokes about me, don't get mad about it. Don't try to stick up for Dad no more. It's too hard on you. And I said, agree with them, and you don't have to feel like you've ever dishonored me. You honored every piece of me. Is so proud of him, no matter where and when or what goes on, because he doesn't remember now. He says, Dad, I don't remember that, and I mean. He's being told I poisoned him. I mean, Dad, I forgive you for poisoning. I said, I never. What do you? I mean, it just was like I never poisoned you, Tatum. I didn't even want to explain it. I didn't want to have any part of what the alienating. I didn't know it was gonna go, and still today, the phone calls. I got a picture of him on his first day of school, and he's got like one sock, a ripped shirt. I mean, I'm praying that was just a game. I mean, I'm praying. I'm like Dennis, that he's just still playing these games because there's so many. It was the phone. He got hit in the head, and the phone, the voice automatically was like 12 feet away and kind of whimpering, and he was like, I could hear him getting yelled at. I'm on the phone, and I'm like, well, Tatum was on the phone too. What? He wasn't even doing nothing. He was talking to his brother. Kindly, it was just a matter of sent me into fury, and I sent some text, and the next thing I know, I'm arrested. They got evidence of this happening. My brother comes over, and I said, Tatum, what happened that couple weeks ago when that last time we had that phone call? What was that? And I said, Aaron's standing there listening, and I said, did he hit you in the head or something? Well, not. He didn't hit me. He was sticking up for Brad, sort of, for some reason. I mean, like he was being told things that already had come to us, and he said he didn't hit me in the head. He hit the phone. I said, so he hit the phone out of your hand, like it hit your ear, like it just went flying. He goes, yeah, it hit my ear. I said, did it hurt? He said, just no, not really. Like he was being tough. I said, so he does he hit you all the time or something? He didn't hit me. He just does this, and he hits the back of his head. And I said, well, that's hitting. I said, and that's hitting, Tatum. I said, people can't hit each other. That's not okay. And my brother's like, our dad hit us. Yeah, it's all, what's the big deal? But I could tell it upset my brother, and his way of dealing with it was to say, our dad hit us. And my dad, my dad didn't hit us on a normal schedule to terrorize us. I was 17. He smacked me. I was, smacked me. I mean, I got it. I saw him take my brother on. He didn't, not the middle to me and the oldest. I've seen, I got smacked. I got punched. I got the back of the hand when I was looking out the passenger window of my dad. I said something cocky. I was 15 or 16. I was 16 because I could drive. And he put his knuckles in my mouth, bam, on the back of his hand. I bit my tongue. And, oh, God, that night went even worse after that. I don't really remember much of it. Huh. And maybe my brother was right. But I got the belt once or twice, I remember, for whatever. But I'm really against ever putting hands or even using aggression towards a dog or a boy, because I've learned two things. That when you don't do that, when you don't ever put fear in them, up to a point, you don't ever have to put fear in them. Never make them afraid, because you don't learn when you're afraid. Lots of things children do at the ages 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They are experimenting with whatever it is, or experimenting with what you'll say. They're trying to find out. They're like, maybe I don't feel like asking if it's okay to do, so it's, I'm going to do it and show dad I can do it or what have you. And am I going to get in trouble? Dad will tell me if and my son, he actually asked me after he was gone months on the phone. He said, Dad, well, why did you always let me do the choices? And I mean, it's not exactly factual, but I wanted him to believe in himself. And I think I made the wrong choice by not, physically fighting with the guardian so Tatum could see whether I lose or go to jail. You have to defend yourself. And, under the conditions where he was saying, Daddy, he touched me, did this, he did that. And I trusted social services to handle it. And then I watched a video of myself today that I was recording, and they were telling me, screened like just cocky, arrogant, fucking, and I could see myself. I ignored it. I just pretended it wasn't going on, like it did not bother me. I said, okay, well, can I talk to your supervisor and they'll call you tomorrow? Okay, thank you. Like, I fucking thanked them. I just couldn't hold it together any longer. I ate so much shit. And now I'm here. I'm 2 years out. You wouldn't believe what they're doing. They're pretending to have court hearings. I never went to a court hearing on the 29th. There was no testimony given. My child has been moved to different schools, held back once. It's all red flags to hiding child abuse. It is so, he's fucking smart. To hold him back is to degrade his self-worth, to take his friendships away, to make him feel he's not adequate. In 2 years, I got 1 hour. I mean, I can't help him. I can't help him from where I'm at. How? What do I do? I can't talk to him on the phone without the guy alienating him. Tatum basically says, he answers the phone, Dad, I gotta go, bye. I say, what? Why? What's going on? I can hear the guardian say, tell him you're tired. Tell me, teaching him to fucking lie. I can't even talk. I'm sorry. They put it on a 2-year moratorium, like mailed it back to me. I didn't know about a 2-year moratorium. It was a voluntary guardianship. Now they're calling it a permanent guardianship. They're liars. I could prove it all. Okay? On the 29th, supposedly they had a termination of guardianship, where they ruled it denied. No, there was no testimony. I never even filed the termination of guardianship. On the 16th of July, there was a video conference where I wasn't videoed in because I couldn't get there. I got there by audio. The judge put me on mute and never unmuted me. And it was about venue, because the child lives in my county, the guardian lives in my county, the TPR is the mother. So, I mean, she's just a few minutes out of county. He goes to school now this year in this county and does not give me visitation according to court order. So I wanted to fight that, and they said, well, we don't handle it in La Crosse County. It's Jackson County. What do you mean? The guardian hasn't gone to one guardian review. He hasn't done one thing that the state law says he's supposed to do. And he's walking like he's try to prove it. He's a District 3 supervisor on DOT. He's way up the chain, way up. So they're breaking him in, making sure he ain't gonna turn on them, and they did. They got him to lie under oath at least 5 times about simple things, and you could hear him like, why are they asking these questions when he knows I'm gonna have to answer with a lie? That was in the venue hearing, and I gotta take. I mean, and then I mean, I had an attorney because I got 21 charges of threat by internet was the first one. And that's when I just sent something to him that I pasted. 941.03. Self-defense of yourself or another. -A of somebody that's in power and is controlling the ability to get help. Do you know what it says I can do? Do you know what it says? Okay? It says I can do that. It says you can take whatever necessary it takes to stop the abuse to your child or the infringement of civil liberties. It says it in the state statute. I sent it to Brad and walked down. I realized that moment that I was, that's what my consideration was. And I walked 3 blocks down to the police station in town, rang on their doorbell about 7 o'clock at night. No one answered because I was going to, basically turn myself in and say, I'm considering taking the 941 option and taking this guy out because this is what's going on. And they didn't answer. By the time I get back from the 3 blocks, there's 8 cops at my house arresting me for felony threat by internet. I said on the way to jail in handcuffs, I said, well, good, because now I get a evidentiary hearing before they can even a probable cause hearing before they can even charge me. I want to hear what this guardian has to say about what I sent him because it wasn't ridiculous. There's an overtoning of not even of anger, but of of discussion. You want to open up a discussion when you're in this situation. You want to be kind, but also you don't want to eat words. So you bounce back and forth. It's very sort of, how do I keep my son safe? How do I keep this guardian in a position that I may possibly try to get my son and see him? I mean, birthday presents, Christmas presents, he never got them. Did the guy resell them? I mean, what the fuck did he do? Tatum says he did not get them. Okay? I was allowed to buy a pair of shoes for him on the first day of school last year. This year he says he's got everything. And with that picture, it's like us slapping it's like if I would have sent my truth, and I did actually. I sent a message. I maybe worded it more in a better way, like, Brad, here's what's going on. You're going to go to jail. Your family's going to be affected. I care about Tatum's brother and sister because he cares about him. So now I have to care about you. But I did it in a 5,000 word repeating sort of. If he was reading it, by the end he's going to go, he's screwing with me. Yeah, I am. I'm screwing with you, but I'm screwing with you the right way. If you're going to screw someone, if it's in or out, screw them the right way. I mean, screw them towards God or towards the right decision. There's no other choice that he has but to step back, take a look at why very powerful judges and lawyers and DAs and state public defenders would, even in his position, why they would do these favors for him when they could lose their job. I mean, it's a fact, black and white. If they get caught, which they've obviously put up Brad as a shield, and another lawyer I have is also going to be party to that shield, and he's gone now too. But Brad, the guardian, is absolutely a shield because all they got to do is say, well, we didn't know that, we didn't know that, we didn't know that, and when he got to court, Brad didn't say, well, the dad says that I abused him, so then I stopped letting him see him for 2 years. They had me on mute, so the judge technically could say, oh, I never even knew visitation stopped. But actually, it's not true because he said something like, which was peculiar, with no testimony about it. He said, well, I mean, if he's not going to see him for this long, it's almost like he doesn't want to see him. And they said I was muted. If not, they got a real good Adam dealing with. I'm surprised I didn't have a heart attack. I've never yelled. So I needed to. I needed to holler. I needed to scream at the wall. I needed to speak my mind, and I was the only one here. So there might have been 6 or 8 blocks of people in all different directions going, who is that? Who's he yelling at? Oh, it's got to be a domestic. Well, you don't get domestic if you yell by yourself, okay? You can yell in the mirror. You know, you can. I'm doing it. You know, what the hell? And then I'll get that peace of mind, and I can't do it as well as I used to now. I very rarely. I did it a couple days ago. But you got to be able to go to a place to dream in order to come up with ideas. When you're stuck in a state of almost adrenaline driven, I wouldn't call it anger, but fear and never have I had fear like this for myself, never. But my child, it isn't a fear that I won't see him. It's a fear that they're going to destroy him, and he's going to have to live this life of unknowing what his potential is, because these assholes they're planning for future dollars. That's what they're doing. They're breaking kids between the ages of 4 and 7. They're destroying their psyche. They're showing them lies and deception and showing them you can't trust anybody. And that is such a textbook way to make a child codependent, drug addicted, and mental health issues by the time they're 15. So they are cutting out. They're destroying the family by hitting children. And we're 25 years into the Clinton blue dress last night in office scandal, where he signed these bills into action. And then Hillary got the whole push to the adjustments. Obama did something. You know, Trump's the only one that said he was going to do something and didn't. Bush did some shit. Took our governor and made him Department of Health and Human Services director, and he retired after 2 years. You know, but Wisconsin is the hotbed. Wisconsin is where this started. They ran programs here, how to work them out. Beta. I think California might be one. There's some places that had the first reported child in need cases, the first guardianship, the rulings. You could see where they played it out. And I feel so bad I feel terrible about talking about me. But the most important, it isn't me, and it's not Tatum. Tatum would say the same thing, and he has. It's his brother that he cares about. Dad, I got to stay there. I can't leave him alone with that guy. That's my brother. That's my bro, he says. He's 7. You know, he's starting to talk more like his 16-year-old brother than maybe I like, but it is what it is. Some swear words, the street slang kind of. But listen to me, I sound like I got a gopher in my mouth sometimes, and sometimes I feel like the gopher pooped. So my tongue is tied. I tell you what, this is not Adam Bishop. This is not who I was. This is a product of 2 years of very little sleep. When you wake up, you're thinking the same thing. When you go to sleep, you're defeated. Maybe you get up and you're like, I'm going to try this. Maybe an idea sounds terrific. Oh man, I got it. You got to fake yourself. You got to lie to yourself almost that you got hope. And then one day, all of a sudden, you go, oh my God, I'm not thinking about it today. I'm thinking about something else to distract me. And oh my God, I mean, the couple things I've done to make sure that that's not going to happen, because I'm saying this to sound better, but educated. I had some psychology classes that I remember that they would say, if you don't want to forget something or forget about a moral standing, or name your passwords. Make your passwords something that reminds you. Make everything that is important and repetitive in your day. Name your dog, that quote, the person who made that quote, so that you can remember. That's how I want. And I've done that. I've done those things. And just the other day, I took the refrigerator saying down because it made me mad. It made me so mad. It was something that I put up there from the Department of Health and Human Services in 2019 that they gave me when I was, you're such a good dad, and man, we're so glad you're here. Tatum's so happy to have you. And he was. I mean, it was. He went from hell to a place of not talking at 3 to just bouncing at 5, and then that plan came. I don't know if you overheard it, and then bruises showed up, and it went so fast that I still thought I had family. My family just, I don't know how the hell they got to my family like they did. But my dad was a cop, my mom was a teacher. I mean, they came from Florida the day that the day that I got arrested for the yeah, they changed it to a misdemeanor, by the way, so I never got that hearing. Sorry to get back on that. But I got out and I called and I said to my dad, he said, well, you're not thinking about hurting Brad, like kind of like he's asking a question. I said, what the fuck are you asking me a question? I said, he just had me arrested. I'm trying to see my son. And I said, Dad, I said, that was a question. You're a cop. There's a state statute in the state that you're in that says I can do it. And he said, oh, you're just nuts. Hangs up the phone. I'm like, what do you mean I'm nuts? I haven't even done anything. I'm expressing something to my dad, you know? And 24 hours later, they were back in the state. The first stop was at the Department of Health and Human Services when it was shut down to the public. They had a fucking meeting. So, and when I ask them about it, they very rarely even talk, but they get mad and they hang up and they say, we don't know what you're talking about. So, I mean, they're obviously involved in keeping resources and controlling public opinion. And that's a huge thing. Public perception of what's going on is that, you know, I did something, and the closed files that it was me, they're changing the narrative. You know, it was, and you know, some of them were smart enough to see through the shit, but what they said to me, these elders in the community that I've known forever and they know that this is bullshit. I mean, we were a happy family up to the point of Adam having a child, and then Dean and Marilee flip-flopped on liking their kids. I mean, we're talking about loyalty in a family that I thought was the highest. I was so proud to be a bishop. My dad, I was proud. He was the best man in I don't even know who I am. I don't even know what was real growing up. I don't know if they sold me out so that the two other brothers could have concrete jobs and live miserable drunk lives, and that looks normal. It's unbelievable. It's not even belief window. It's the whole house burned down, and I have to look at the ashes and try to figure out, what do I take here? How do you take nothing? How do I walk away with nothing when I'm almost 50 years old? My son is 7. There's no choice. I'm not walking away from him without being a dead drunk. I mean, I don't drink, but I'm going to start. It just doesn't seem any other way. I'm going to go and I'm going to drink. It's not suicide. It's mercy. I got to show myself mercy. I'm not strong. I am the strongest. You would hear me say, I would never admit to weakness. I would never be that man. Pity is for pussies was my statement. But never, ever, ever have I been proven so wrong. I can't seem to find a place where I didn't do anything, but I still can't find forgiveness for myself because the situation is going on. Give me an hour a week with my kid. Let me fucking try to bond with him. I don't care if you got 20 people looking over my shoulder. All your excuses are bullshit. There was never supervised visits ever ordered once in my life. In my time in history, I've never had a problem with a child. But yet your narrative is what? That because I'm emotional right now, because I talk, that I'm crazy or I'm unfit for a father? You know what? You're criminals. They're criminals. What do you do with criminals when they don't turn themselves in? Huh? Or when they fight back when they resist? What do they do to them? Why is it that we can't do that when there are kids? There are fucking kids.